Hello everyone and welcome back to Destiny. Bungie has just confirmed the title for the next DLC, and it is simply called WARMIND. The news came today in a developer update complete with a brand new teaser image for the WARMIND DLC. It is set to deploy May 8th alongside the start of Season 3, and will also be revealed in full detail on April 24th over on Bungie's Twitch page. More information coming soon. Alongside that news, we also got an updated roadmap for the month of April, which now includes their plans for a summer update, as well as a fall update that will coincide with the launch of Season 4, which should also coincide with the launch of a fall expansion that they have yet to fully reveal. So what can we expect from all of these new updates? Well, let's get into it. Also, enjoy the Destiny 1 footage. I couldn't find a team to play the Nightfall with on PC, so I said why not, let's boot up Destiny 1. Alright, so let's just go in chronological order, starting with DLC 2's official title, now called WARMIND. I'm sure I can come up with my own criticisms for that title, especially since it sort of implies that this will be the end-all be-all expansion that has to do anything with war mines, but of course we'll have to wait and see what exactly their approach to this new DLC is. At first glance, we can see some more maybe anti-air defensive measures from Rasputin, and then of course we see what looks like a raw form of SIVA in the background, hinting that SIVA is going to be part of the next DLC, which is essentially at this point all but confirmed. But of course we'll have to wait until the official stream on April 24th to really dive into that. But one big thing that's coming out of this is some pretty exciting news in reference to the Crucible, and it has to do with gaining access to new maps. So currently in Destiny 2, if you don't own Curse of Osiris, you have to play the normal quick player competitive playlists, and those who do have the DLC can load into the Osiris playlists. This is kind of lame for both sides of the equation. If you don't own Curse of Osiris, well, you don't have access to new maps and you're probably not able to play with some of your friends. And if you do own Curse of Osiris, then again, you probably can't play with some of your friends. The only way to see those new maps is to queue into the Curse of Osiris playlists, and the only thing that really does is divide the community. Well, it looks like with the May update, they are changing their philosophy when it comes to the Crucible content. So essentially, starting Season 3, all Crucible maps, including those that are included with WARMIND, will be accessible to everybody in activities that require matchmaking. So whether that's Trials of Osiris, Iron Banner, Quick Play, Competitive, Mayhem, all of those maps will be in the matchmaking pool even if you don't own WARMIND, so you can play the new maps. Now, why make the distinction? Well, if you remember, Season 3 is also marking the debut of a new feature for Destiny 2 anyways, which is private matches. So if you want to queue up with your friends and play whatever you want with them, of course that doesn't include matchmaking, so you have to own the DLC to play the new maps in that mode. Again, to clarify, private matches will be available to everybody, but to access the new maps, you have to own the corresponding DLC, and you can see that outlined here in this fancy new graphic, which shows us what items are available to those who own the expansions, and what items are available to everybody regardless of what you own outside of the base game. Now, another cool thing you see right next to the new Crucible maps in this season's section is new seasonal events, which we'll go ahead and dive into right now. So this moves us on to the new updated roadmap, and thankfully it features information on what's coming this summer and what's coming in September. So let's talk about summer. So in the summer, we're going to be getting a new seasonal event. What could this be? I strongly believe that this will be the return of Sparrow Racing League. I think this will be its return to Destiny 2. I don't know what it's going to look like, whether or not it's going to be expanded upon since Destiny 1, but at the very least, this will be a seasonal event, meaning that it will return once per season instead of just once per year, which I can get very excited about. Next up, we have faction rally improvements. This is something that Christopher Barrett did tell us was coming, but now we have an indication of when we can expect it. Whenever this summer update hits, I think that's when we can expect the changes to the faction rallies. Let's just hope they're actually substantial enough for us to care about doing them. Next up, we have the return of bounties. This is a pretty huge thing. Of course, we know nothing other than just simply seeing the word bounties on the screen. They are definitely one of the biggest missed things from Destiny 1, but of course that was when we had something to actually strive for. They really have to bring it on the gear department in Season 3 for us to care about bounties. Let's just hope this also comes with a new progress tab for the character menu screen, and I think that'll become something pretty important as we move into the content for September. We can only assume that it's going to function like it did in Destiny 1. Let's hope that there is something from every single planetary and tower vendor. They'll probably have you go do a couple things, maybe a fetch quest, maybe kill a certain number of enemies, then earn your usual reputation, experience, glimmer, gear, all of that good stuff. So that's something that I'm very excited to do. But moving on, we have the inclusion of PC Clan Chat, which is going to be very welcome. In addition to exotic armor sandbox changes, this could be falling to September. I hope it kind of does, because I think they need a massive rework to how weapons and armor work, and I think this should be a part of it. I don't think there's any point to tuning them in the summer if there's going to be a massive change to them in September. That's probably why it's in yellow. And of course, the massive changes that I'm hoping for is a rework on how perks work, how mods work into your armor as well. That's all part of Mods 2.0, which I believe to be coming in September. And with that, let's go ahead and transition to September, which will coincide with the launch of Season 4 and the launch of the Fall DLC, which we won't be talking about right now. Again, something really important to remember with the summer and September updates is that they will be available to everybody regardless of what DLC you own. So the Season 4 September updates will be available to everybody regardless of whether or not you own the Fall expansion. So with that, let's get into it. First up, we have gear collections. A while back, Luke Smith did mention that Destiny 2 will be starting to move towards a collection game. It currently is definitely not there right now, but that's where things are headed, and gear collections seems to be that first step. So what is gear collections? Well, we had that in Destiny 1, although that focused on event armor specifically. This says gear collections, which in Destiny terms, gear refers to both armor and weapons. So this could also be hinting that you're going to be able to have a collection of legendary gear that you can pull out at any time. I am totally okay with this, especially if they expand on mods and they expand on Masterworks, which is going to be a topic of a different video I want to put out a little bit later this week. So the gear collections is going to be addressing the whole vault space issue. We can't seem to get enough vault space, and it seems like Bungie is not content in just giving us more and more and more vault space. They want to truly solve the problem. They started to move in that direction with Destiny 1, but hopefully they're able to revamp that system a little bit and reapply it to Destiny 2, and hopefully we won't even need additional vault space. That's my hope. I don't want a vault full of 200 pieces of gear. I want an organized way to get what I need when I need it without it being a hassle. It was really nice in Destiny 1 to go back to my vault to get my SRL gear from the year before and use it again in the following year, so that was a pretty cool feeling, and I would love to get that year round with all of my gear. And of course, there's that whole completionist mentality, which is that I want to collect every single armor set in the game. Give me a way to do that without it taking up a ton of vault space. Moving on, we have records. We don't know whether or not this will be record books from Destiny 1, because I think it would have said so, but we have records. What this looks like, we don't know. But at the very least, I hope it's a much more efficient way to organize what you've completed in the game. That's what we all want to see. We want to look and see that 100%. Record books worked really well in Destiny 1 because it gave you that sense of completion, and you got extra rewards on top of it, and they even made it more awesome by giving you the ability to purchase specific kinds of merchandise in real life by completing the book. So those were really successful methods, and I hope those make their way back to Destiny 2, which it looks like it will in some capacity. Anyways, moving on, we have weapon slot changes. I went over this a little bit in a previous video. I'll leave a link down below. I do have a lot more to go over with this. I've been thinking about this quite a bit, and with the Creator Summit coming up, of course, I won't be there, but there's been a lot of discussion lately in the community about weapon slots. But even more exciting is the next line item, which is weapon randomization. Now, what this looks like, we still don't know. This is clearly not going to be the same system from Destiny 1, as in every item that drops for you will not randomly roll into a new set of perks. Instead, it looks like it's going to be very closely tied into the new mod system. Now, of course, this is a pretty short list, and they did say that there's a lot more yet to be revealed. I think we're going to see a lot more about this during E3. There is very clearly a lot that they just can't talk about yet because it's most likely tied into the next DLC. And as transparent as Bungie is becoming, they still want to have their moments of awe and reveal, which I totally want them to have because that stuff is kind of fun. So it was important for them to kind of line list the 4 major topics the community is begging for, so that was pretty cool. But of course, we'll see a lot more of what that looks like later on this summer. But anyways, that kind of wraps up the big day in news. This wasn't This Week in Bungie, this was just a random announcement from the developers. It's nice to see things like this happen every so often. It's also very clear that they want to clear the air on some of these topics before the Creator Summit so it doesn't become too out of hand. What we do know about the Creator Summit is that they're going to have a sneak peek into what is coming in the fall. That's actually a huge deal and inspires quite a bit of hope, because that means that they'll have enough time to take that feedback and incorporate it into what we get in the fall. I have to say, I'm really enjoying this new air around Destiny right now. Everyone's brains are starting to work. I think we're all just tired of complaining about what went wrong and want to start constructively thinking about how we can make this game amazing again. At least that's going to be my approach moving forward. Anyways, I'm really curious what you think of this new roadmap. What do you think of the WARMIND DLC? Do you think it's going to have enough content to carry us over to the fall? Let's discuss. Drop a like if you enjoyed this video and subscribe for more Destiny content. And I will see you all next time.